Beautiful Wednesday morning in Central Florida. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together about 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Hopefully, get your day started off with a smile. We've got a lot to talk about this morning. Certainly, bottom corner shows Invest 99. Satellite presentation continuing to show something wanting to get together. We will discuss the tropics in just a moment. But before we get too into the weeds there, and believe me, we're going to get into the weeds. Let's look outside and see what's doing on our Tower Cam network. Ocala, good morning. Good morning. It is a gorgeous clear sky up there. And across much of Central Florida, kind of the same thing. Mainly sunny skies. It's beautiful. Our radar, but I tell you that they better get that puppy, that software update coming here soon. They better do that. The radar is good, but a software update kind of broke. So here we are. So anyway, a live look at the National Weather Service Doppler radar showing a few sprinkles off the shoreline. Otherwise, we're good. Temperatures out the door, 70s for us. Lower 70s in the metro, mid 70s along the shoreline. But let me tell you something. Today will not be as warm as yesterday. I mean, maybe close-ish, but it's going to feel better. And then tomorrow into the weekend, our morning temperatures are going to start to look fantastic. First off, for today, breeze 15, 20, 25 miles an hour. It's looking great. Oh, did I mess up the... Hold on. No, the microphone's good. Maybe it's just not turned up high enough. Apologies. A couple of you were talking about the microphone. So today, that breeze 15, 20, 25 miles an hour. 81 degrees, our 3 p.m. temperature. Temperatures today are going to at least look more like they should this time of year. 81 in Orlando, average high temperature is 79, so we're doing well. 83 in the Villages, 80 degrees Daytona Beach, 81 in Titusville. So it's looking great. It really is looking great. Oh, hold on. Now all right. I had the webcam microphone on. Thanks, guys. See, this is why I love this. This is why I love this, because I need your help. Clearly. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so that should be better now. Should be much, much better now. All right, so before I was so politely interrupted because my audio was stinky. All right, so the forecast today is looking good. Let's look at the temperatures, though, over these next couple of nights because we are finally getting in the right direction. That was my technical issue. All right, forecast temperatures the next couple of nights. Y'all, take a look at this. This is the good stuff. Look at that. Tomorrow morning, we wake up to 65 in Orlando, so it will be noticeably cooler. And then Saturday, Sunday, we'll wake up to temperatures in the 50s. What? What? Let's look at Sunday morning, for example. Let's just take a peek at our Sunday morning temperature because that conceivably should be the coolest of at least this little stretch of days. How does that look? 58 in Orlando for a morning low temperature, 62 in Daytona Beach, 55 in the Villages. Chef's kiss is what that is. Saturday afternoon, just saying, look at how nice that is. Upper 70s for daytime highs. Angela says it's time to open the windows. Love it, love it, love it. Ah, love that. But comparatively speaking, right? Like yesterday we had 87. Today we hit 81. So we are at least starting to feel the changes. Starting to feel the... we're getting there. Little bit by little bit because of cold fronts. Average high temperatures right about where they should be. We'll be a little above, but much closer than we've been, right? Like lower 80s for highs. Averages are in the 70s. Look, though, at yesterday's numbers, and there's a distinct difference. Yesterday, we were in the ballpark of records. We were within a degree of a record in Orlando going back to 1916. So, yowza. All right. So the forecast is looking great. Should we now talk about the tropics? Questions, comments, concerns about our local forecast before we move on? I'll pop up the 7-day forecast. That way, if you do have a question, a comment, or a concern, we can address it. All right. Can we not say we did? I know. So a great stretch of weather next couple of days. All right. Tropics. Gross. Ready? All right. So a couple of people are asking to talk about the hurricane. There's no hurricane. I want to be very clear on that. No hurricane whatsoever. However, there is an area that is absolutely catching attention. This is Invest 99. It's the same area that we've been watching the last couple of days, but yesterday the National Hurricane Center tagged it as an invest, which means that we're starting to run computer models on it, all right? Clearly, there's some convection down there, clearly, and the models are going more and more in. You see it in the bottom left corner, but we'll throw it on the full screen as well here, just so that we're not confusing everything. Tick, tick. All right, there we go. 90% chance of development over the next 2 days' time. We're already starting to see the development here, okay? So there's that. If we were to look at, give me a second, and I'm just going to move this around. Of course, I don't have it easily dialed up. Hold on. We'll click that. What I want to do is I want to show you I want to show you the visible satellite down there, because in addition to the infrared, which we were looking at, and I'll, certainly we'll be watching it, right? But like in addition to that, put you there, noon F, noon B. Okay, these should have the viz. Yep, all right. So here's the visible. It's going to start with the visible satellite here. Actually, I don't even know that the sun's like up enough. Yeah, we're not going to get much. I'll switch the satellites because that sector ends. Goes east, young man. Northern hemisphere. Give it a second. There it goes. And instead of last 4 hours, let's try last 2 hours. All right. So clearly we're just starting to see the sunrise. Instead of yeah. But you can kind of make out, there's a little bit of a spin there. Let's go, instead of last 2 hours, let's do last 1 hour. Yeah, that's much better. So we're going to be watching for the spin. There's a broad circulation in there. We've not gotten to the point yet where there's like a tightened circulation yet. So, we are not to the point where it has started to develop. We do think it's going to develop. Now let's talk about the ingredients for timing and for positioning, okay? So there's a lot of scenarios possible, but essentially, watch with me. Storm system starts lifting toward the Gulf right about the same time a cold front is approaching. So the front is going to heavily impact where this thing eventually goes. If the front is faster, it would be further south. If the front is slower, the system would be further north. And so based on that, we kind of have two scenarios that are at least showing up in the models. A more northerly track would mean more rain for us, higher winds, more impacts, and an increased threat of tornadoes. Whereas if we had a bit more of a southerly track for Central Florida, it would be less impacts. It would put us on the weaker side of the storm system, okay? So those are kind of the scenarios that we're looking at for now. One thing that's interesting is that at the end of the day, this is lining up almost identically with the surface weather map for Hurricane Kate back in 1985. Cold front right there, area of high pressure on the right. And so November storms, this is a hand-drawn weather map from the evening of November 19th, 1985. Now, if you look in the timestamp there, you can see 0Z Wednesday, the 20th of November, but that is 7 p.m. on the 19th. It's Zulu time. So anyway, Hurricane Kate had the exact same thing. High pressure retreating, cold front there. And this is what Hurricane Kate did back in 1985, kind of looped through the Gulf of Mexico and made landfall north of us. Just showing that the weather pattern that's kind of setting up is what you would need for a Florida threat. And that's why, in looking at kind of the two possible scenarios, the reality is the models are in some pretty significant agreement. Take a look at the global models, and we will dial in. We're going to look at all the raw model data here. But the global models are kind of, it's so interesting how this far out they're dialed in. What is today, the 13th, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. You're talking like 8 days before the potential of this storm system moving in. And so, yeah, this kind of agreement is significant. Now, these are the global models. Now that it's an invest, we have the tropical models. So let's look at the tropical models. All right. They only go out so far, but watch. There's the tropical models as they stand right now. And this is the newest run of those tropical models. They don't go far enough out for a landfall, right? But you could kind of interpolate where they're showing, right? So let's go through time because I want to focus. Notice in the Caribbean, the bottom of the screen there, they're kind of looping around and hanging out in the Caribbean before they start to move. That's Monday. So in terms of timeline, let's look. That's Friday afternoon. That's Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday midday. So Saturday, Sunday, they're going to be hanging around. Models are saying it hangs around the Caribbean. And then by Monday, Tuesday, it starts to lift to the north. That's Wednesday, 8 a.m. And obviously we know. So for now, the global models are showing Wednesday would be an impact for us. Like and subscribe. How about if there was a dislike button, I would be begging you to hit the dislike button. What about the intensity models? So take a look. Yesterday, there were a few models taking it to Category 4 status, but you've kind of got the clear sight of a hurricane is absolutely in play here. And a couple of them are even saying could get into major hurricane status. Now, in terms of major hurricane status, one of the tools that we use, and let me dial it up here. I've got to remember what the heck this website is. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. All right. So one of the tools that we use to determine major hurricane intensity. Interesting. And why are you? It's not working right now. So awesome. That's interesting. I was looking at the ship summary plot, but it's not. It's not plotting. So interesting. There must be a data issue. At any rate, I wanted to look and see like the percentage of the model wanting to go major hurricane, that sort of thing. So yeah, but you know, the heavy thing. Okay, so looking at the ships here, the one thing that it's depending on in terms of intensification, and this is interesting. Okay, so watch the computer models again, and then we'll look at the globals together. But let's just watch the tropical models again for a second here. All right, so watch through time here, and I'm just you see how some of them stay out to sea, some of them don't in the Caribbean, but most of them bring it over the Yucatan. I think that's a significant piece to this eventuality for us. Does the storm system go over the Yucatan, or does the storm system stay in the Yucatan Passage out over water? These models are pretty consistent with Yucatan impact, which would, if it was trying to become a major hurricane, it would weaken it. If it was a major hurricane, it would weaken it. That's going to be the first speed bump. If it goes over Cancun, Cozumel, this area here, that will that will impact it, that will take it down, right? So that to me is going to be the first real test. And we won't get that until like, what, this weekend? Right? The models are saying it goes near the Yucatan. That's Monday afternoon. So here we are Wednesday. We're going to have to wait until Monday afternoon to see if it goes over the Yucatan or not. Now, by then, certainly models would have a better handle on the overall idea, but you get the point, right? That's the first step. And then, of course, afterward we have to see what happens. So let's look at the global models. Okay, if you're new to Coffee Talk, we have a couple thousand people joining, certainly more than on a sunny day. So welcome to all of you. We do this 7 days a week. It's a deep dive. I get it. Not everybody wants to watch a deep dive every day, but when there's a hurricane, maybe you do. All right. So this is 10 a.m. tomorrow. And the GFS south of the Caymans developing, and then really strengthening. I mean, let's just go to like a nice round number. That's 10 a.m. on Monday morning. That's winds of 112 miles an hour right there. Okay. Going over the Yucatan. Goes from winds of 112, what did I say it was, 112? It brings it down to 70 mile per hour winds. So what the difference is, right? 112 mile per hour winds, Yucatan 70. So it really kicks it in the stomach. That's going to be a big player in what happens. And then the GFS brings it back 87, 110, and the GFS is south. Look at that, right? Most recent run of the GFS is south. And then gets it picked up by a front, high pressure builds in, and then afterward, like, love the GFS. Friday, that's Black Friday. There'd be a Black Friday tropical system over Cuba. I'm not even going to talk. Oh my God, he just showed it. It's something to laugh at and nothing more right now. All right, let's look at the earlier run of the GFS getting strong, going over the Yucatan, and then Southwest Florida. Let's go back 2 model runs ago, further north. So the GFS has definitely started to trend further south. Okay. Let's go to the Euro. Which, by the way, the Euro got a big upgrade yesterday. Big software upgrade yesterday. So we don't know how this new Euro works. Euro brings wind 129 mile per hour winds. Yucatan. And that's as far out as it goes on the 6Z. But we can go to the 0Z is the last full run. Yeah, really deepening it. Yucatan, what did it bring the wind to? 137 miles an hour. Yucatan down to 99. And then clearly we don't like the way that looks. And that's Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Okay, yeah. So that's the 0Z. If we look at the 12Z, yeah, you get the idea. And then just to go back to the 0Z, just to look, does it have a Thanksgiving? It does not. So there you go. So anyway, there are those models. We'll look at the Canadian model. Not as deep. Not as deep. Much, much weaker and going into like Mobile Bay. Icon, I don't think you go out far enough. Yeah. Icon 9, yeah, 1,000. So the Icon's a much weaker low as well. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty still. There's a lot of uncertainty still, which is why we need to watch. Oh, I didn't look at the ensembles. Stand by. GFS ensemble. Now, for those of you that are new, what is the ensemble model? Essentially, After the GFS runs its main model and the European, it stops, goes back, and starts to overthink things. Does that sound familiar? I feel like a lot of us do that. That's what you see here. That's the ensembles. First off, you see how basically every one of the ensemble members is developing an area of low pressure. So there's a clear thing there. So let's look at all of them on top of each other. And they're really developing a closed off low by like 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. So tonight or tomorrow, probably going to see a tropical depression forming. All right. They're meandering, and almost every ensemble member brings it to Florida or very near Florida. So, yeah. Laura says, not particularly worried about this one. Listen, none of us should be particularly worried about it, but all of us should be watching it, right? So that's the GFS ensembles, European ensembles. Yeah, I mean, that's as far out as the 6Z goes. But if I go to the 0Z, yeah, most of them are awful close. The one model we didn't look at, I always forget the Euro AI. You do this so long, you just kind of forget the new ones. All right, Euro AI over the Yucatan, much weaker, and then kind of Panhandle Big Bend area. So, yeah. Also, worth mentioning, like honorable mention here, look at Louisiana. You see that darker blue near Louisiana? That's the remnant low from Raphael. So, in terms of working on a long range forecast, look at where it goes. Central Louisiana. Taking notes for next year's hurricane season, also. So, anyway, lots to watch. Lots to watch. They're the the spaghetti plots, as we call. We'll see how it all plays out. Okay. So yeah, at the end of the day, and I've said this, like, do you need to be freaking out? Absolutely not. Do we need to be stressing? No. Do we need to be watching? Sure. And again, I say this, I'm not running ads on Coffee Talk. I don't make money. I'm not on the clock right now for Coffee Talk. So I'm not saying this because I'm making money on this. I'm saying this because I genuinely believe what I do here on Coffee Talk is something that can help everybody. Hopefully that's at least my goal. So for all of us, let's just watch this because yeah, could have something to deal with. For those that say you're not particularly worried, good. None of us should be worried, but we should be watching it. So that's what we need to be doing, okay? So yeah, 90% chance of formation with it. Global models go further than the spaghetti plots, if you will, and there's where the global tracks go. All right. Janice says, Eric, you're always busy keeping us informed. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you. I appreciate it. This hurricane season, it's not coffee talk. It's 8 a.m. beer talk. Hey, man, I'm drinking coffee. That's all. People on the West Coast cannot help but stress. We're still in repair mode. I get it. But also if you stressed at everything that was coming out of the Caribbean, then you'd overstress. So it's my job, I feel, to give you information and try to keep you calm. Tim's asking about the Abair box. So, all right. So I was at Eastbrook yesterday, and that question was asked, right? And so the problem is, remember the Abair box, and if you're new to tracking the tropics, the Abair box is essentially this kind of idea by Mr. Abair that basically said if a major hurricane crosses one of these boxes, it will strike Florida. Remember though, and I'm going to go into, and of course I made these modifications yesterday, and you'd think that I'd clicked save, but I didn't. So stand by. All right, so there's the storm system right now. Hold on. All right. Stand by. And then spaghetti plot. Stand by. Custom. Hold on. See, this is making sausage. Custom. All right. So I think I did it right. So if this thing were to try to go major and it becomes a major and impacts the A-Bear box. So there it is. Oh, for goodness sake, I forgot one piece of this puzzle. Stand by. Satellite, properties, time source. See, this is plus last 6 hours, number of times to loop continuously. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, perfect. All right, so now I put it together. Okay, so A-Bear box. Sorry, guys. All right, so there's the storm system as it is now. It is not a hurricane or anything, but the A-Bear box, the idea here is if a major hurricane rolls through these boxes, then the idea is it hits Florida. So there's the computer models. The question, of course, is does it become a major hurricane while it's in that box? You know, we'll have to wait and see, right? But that's kind of the idea, the thing that we're watching, okay? All right, so that's kind of the idea. Peg says, A-Bear box, learn something new. Yeah, if you Google it, there's all kinds of information. You know, if there's one thing that I think you all at this point should have figured out, I like non-standard weathery stuff. Sabrina says, it was me asking about the A-Bear box last night. It was you. And I didn't click save when we did this last night. Ah. But if you've followed me for a while, you know I like non-standard elements. I like to use all the tools I can. So anyway, A-Bear box, one of those little things. One of those little things. But at the end of the day, I did click save. Yeah, Kelly says, did you click save now? I did. I did. We're good. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is what we're watching right now. Invest 99. We'll have to watch. Does it have to be a major hurricane when it passes through the A-Bear box? I believe the key to the A-Bear box is it has to be a major hurricane in the box. So let's do this then. Let's go back. Let's do some calculations. All right, and let's see. The models have it through the A-Bear box through about Monday at 3 p.m. So, Monday at 3 p.m. It's possible. You know, it's possible. So, yeah. Don't love that, but it's possible. So there you go. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Anything at all. Small things. At least it's cooler today. Tide record. Yeah, yeah. It's today's a good day. Yeah. Will this be like Milton? Too early to tell. On any of those fronts. And anybody that says they know, they don't. Yeah. The Ghosted Woman is the A-Bear box all year, just certain times. Hurricane season. Yeah, it's just a hurricane season thing. Preston's asking, what time is landfall? Models are trying to give it our direction Wednesday-ish. You know, one thing I haven't done is I haven't dialed up our Futurecast model. 6Z. Has the 0Z run at all? Probably not. Oh, it has. All right, so let's go to, I'm sorry, not 0Z, ignore me. The 12Z. 12Z probably has not started yet. Oh, it has. All right, well, let's go to the 60. It's the last full run. All right. But you can see it developing. Interesting that Futurecast is wanting to bring it up. And so you see the yellows, that's tropical storm force winds. You start to see some of those brown shades there, so you're getting to borderline hurricane status. Now we're into hurricane status, but watch the land interaction. Right? Like if it were to go hang out right along the shoreline there of Central America, that would obviously take a toll. That's the 6Z. I think I saw the 12Z was running, so let's bring the map down here and check out our Futurecast model. That's as far out as it goes. Yeah, so we haven't gotten... We'll go to the 0Z, so that's early this morning. So the 0Z was much stronger, and notice it kept it off the shoreline there, right? So now, I mean, that brought it to major hurricane status. So we'll have to see what the new run does. But yeah, it's interesting. All right, people. I'm going to try something in addition to posting my afternoon reel. For those folks that can't make Coffee Talk because it's 32 minutes long, I'm going to try Coffee Talk in a minute. So I'm going to try and post something here in the next couple of minutes while I'm making some soup. We're transitioning to soup mode because the temperatures are going down, all right? But I'll be posting through the day, getting you updates and all that fun stuff, okay? All right, listen. Thank you all for hanging out for Coffee Talk. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I'll see you all a little later on the social channels. I'll be posting, and I'm gonna try Coffee Talk in a minute. So we'll see. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Take care. Bye.